on listening mode.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We are live.
Hi guys, to anyone's listening, this is Mr. ICanWin and
Mr. Blitztek.
Mr. Blitztek, two of the Cyber Nerds. We're here talking about movies today. So let's just get started off. First of all, we're talking about our first topic. Our first topic is Suicide 2. So reports this week came out that Warner Brothers are so excited about the screenings for Suicide Squad that gets released this year in August that Suicide 2 is going into production next year already. Mr. Blitztek, how do you feel about this?
Well, for me, that's rather strange that they haven't even got like numbers yet from the release of the first movie. So I don't know how they could really be releasing the production for number 2. But like, I think they're really getting good reception even from the fans. The fans are liking what they're seeing. I don't know about pre-order sales or whatever, but don't think it could be. I think it's a good way to go.
See, I'm torn on this because I see different things happening in the industry all the time. Like, let's look at Fantastic Four for an example. I think Fantastic Four is an amazing example, the one that got released August last year, because before the movie dropped, they had announced that Fox had already put Fantastic Four 2 on their slate.
Yeah.
Before Fantastic One, before the new Fantastic Four reboot had came out, they had already put Fantastic Four 2 on their slate, and we all know how bad that movie was. That movie was horrible. It was hit. Have you seen it? Nah,
I just avoiding it because of basically everyone saying how bad it is.
Like, basically, it's easily the worst movie of last year. Like, it's horrible. It makes no sense. It's like the first hour of the movie something, and then the second half is something completely different. About the only reason I bring it up is because they had number 2 on the slate, you know, all ready to go, as people say, and that movie flopped. And then the next day, that comes off the slate. So even though everything for Suicide Squad does look amazing and it's probably tracking well this early, I still think that studios shouldn't. Even if they are doing stuff like this, they shouldn't be telling us they're doing stuff like this. I think they feel like it raises the buzz. Like, do you think it makes people feel confident that number 2's already in production, right?
Mm.
But at the same time, like, just wait and see. Like, I don't think you lose anything by not saying number 2's in production before number 1 comes out.
I know what you mean. It's like, it is a kind of a weird craze. Like, even Deadpool did it really confident that out of the gate, ooh, now we're getting a sequel. Like I said, they haven't got numbers. That's what I find so strange. They haven't even got numbers yet to solidify their profits to say, now we can get the get-go for number 2. And like you're saying, that it's even stranger that they're telling us that the movie's not even out, and we're already saying we're putting in production for the sequel by next year. So I don't know what they're trying to do with this.
See, the thing is, it's like, obviously we're just in a generation where there's no more solo movies. There's no more standalone movies. Like, everything is a sequel or a prequel to something else. But I would like movies to pretend that they were standalones. Like, if Deadpool ended and it didn't have that end of credit scene, I don't think it changes anything about the movie. Do you know what I'm saying? I still think it's a great movie. I still think it's good. I do understand that them throwing that on at the end gets people excited for what's to come. But I felt like Deadpool's such a great movie. You don't throw that on in the end, and then the door's really open to whatever you want to do. Like, it's like you take the Man of Steel, for example.
Yeah.
They made Man of Steel. They said Man of Steel 2 was coming. Man of Steel gets slowed down, turned, and ends up becoming Batman versus Superman. And then you do get that little backlash. There was that time where Superman fans were going crazy. Why is this happening with Superman? Why can't he get his own sequel? If they never said Superman 2 was next, they skip out that whole phase. Do you understand? You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Now let's say Deadpool does amazing. Well, it's already done amazing. But let's say they're in the writer's room tomorrow and they think, wow, let's just do straight X-Force. Now, if they do that, someone's going to be like, oh, why aren't they doing a Deadpool sequel? Why aren't they doing this? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the studios are opening themselves to be attacked when they do stuff like this. Go ahead. Any more thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, it sounds more or less on the ball because plans change all the time. Nothing's set in stone. So it's the same with movies. Like you said with Fantastic Four, they didn't get the numbers. They said, yeah, we're already planning Fantastic Four 2 movie. Before you know it, the movie didn't do too well. They cut it off from their roster or whatever for the next coming years. The same thing with like other movies that might be planning a sequel, and suddenly it's like, we don't think this character could do too well on his own straight away into a sequel because people were a bit so-and-so about the first one. We might change it up to bring in another character, another supporting cast, just to make sure that the numbers are good enough for another sequel. But yeah, like you said, it's a bit torn between the two. Like sometimes it goes their way, like with Deadpool. I think it's going their way a lot because everyone wanted a Deadpool movie anyway, and the first one was really, really good. And including like the budget, like you said, it was quite low, so they were able to make sure that the profits might be enough to make a new one. But sometimes I don't think telling us this kind of news is not always good.
Yeah, I just definitely don't think they should tie their hands. Like, even if their hands are tied, if they're going that way, I don't think you have to tell the audience that that's what we're doing. I just think you can just leave yourself open for a little leeway, do this or do that, and everyone will be happy. There's no need for the backlash. You know how people are on the internet. As soon as something changes, there's a problem, or London's burning, or something crazy is happening. All right, so what are your general thoughts on Suicide Squad, the movie as a whole? Have you seen the trailers? Obviously, there's the Comic-Con trailer that got dropped last year, and then they've got the first trailer that came out a couple months ago. How are you feeling about that?
I think it's going to fans' expectations. I think there's a good director and writer behind it. So I think it's going to be a good overall story. For me, it's something new, it's something fresh, because you don't really see villains have their own movie for a comic book movie. Like, that's really new. So for everyone to see fan favorites like Harley Quinn, the Joker, Will Smith playing as Deadshot. If you've seen the animations of, I think it's Attack on Arkham, if you look at that and think, oh, if this was now on the big screen, I think you've got to be like very excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always easier to make these superhero movies with characters that are unknowns. I know a lot of people today think it's all about the brand names, but with the brand names comes so much high expectations. Like Batman vs Superman, if it doesn't do close to Star Wars numbers, someone out there's going to be like, oh, it was a failure, oh, it wasn't great. But if Suicide Squad does half the numbers, it's a success. See, and that's the kind of things that doesn't really make sense to me. I think that Suicide Squad's got everything going for it and very little going against it. Yeah. It's a movie where you've got the majority of the characters you don't know. The 3 characters that you're really, really interested in about are probably going to play, well, one of them was going to play a large role, but the other 2 are probably going to play quite minimal roles. And I'm talking about, we know Batman's going to be in it from production scenes. He's going to play a very minimal role. We know Joker's going to be in it. Joker's going to be in it. He's going to play, I think he's going to play like he's going to play a very secondary role. Yeah. He's not going to be the main bad guy, but he's going to be there in the world moving around. So I think there's that. But then Harley Quinn is going to be the big one. And the advantage that you have with Harley Quinn, obviously she's an amazing character. She's never been in a movie before, so your hands are not tied to any preconceived notions about her. Also, you've got Margot Robbie playing her. She's,
up and coming, really, like everyone loves her kind of thing.
Exactly. She's a great actress. She looks stunning. She knows how to play the role from what we can see in the trailer. So I think it's a win-win.
That's true. Like, I'm excited for the movie. My top 5s for this year. So only good things. Only good things.
All right. So we've got another topic. What is the next topic? Oh, we're moving on right now, yeah?
Yep.
All right, next topic. The Power Rangers. All right, so this might turn a couple people off, but Power Rangers are coming out with a new movie. I don't know if you've heard, but the synopsis for the movie came out. So I'm gonna read you the synopsis for guys who haven't heard of it. For anyone locked in, I'm gonna read the synopsis and then we're gonna talk about it. Saban's Power Rangers follows 5 ordinary high school kids who just become something extraordinary when they learn that their small town of Angel Grove and the world is on the verge of being obliterated by an alien threat. Chosen by destiny, our heroes quickly discover they are the only ones who can save the planet. But to do so, they will have to overcome their real-life issues and band together as the Power Rangers before it's too late. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I'm getting mixed feelings, right? Because it just feels like it sounds like a teen movie, like a high school teen movie kind of synopsis. Like when I watched the first one, was it back in like the 90s, early 2000s?
Got to be 99. I'm guessing 99. I'm a fact.
That's what I said. Yeah, it was like straight off the bat, we knew who they were. Straight into action. Something was against the world that they had to save, and boom, they just went out and did it. They weren't powerful enough, went out and obtained some new powers, came back to be the evil of the world. But this one just sounds like, don't think I get too excited right at the moment. Like, what do you think?
Basically, I'm torn in 2 ways. The reason I'm torn is because obviously I grew up on the Power Rangers. I grew out of the Power Rangers also, but Power Rangers is one of those things like Pokemon that has been going strong for 20 years. Like it's every year there's a new bunch of kids who love Power Rangers. So I'm not sure what angle they're coming at. Are they coming at it with we want the older crowd, the nostalgic crowd, or are they going at it from we just want the new kids. We want the new kids that know the Power Rangers. I think word is that they're going to be using the original Power Ranger names. So that kind of makes me feel like they're going to go with nostalgia. But this is just something I don't think it's going to work. Did you see that Power Ranger short that got released like a year ago?
Yeah, the one that was like really gritty. Probably ones that, like you said, that the people have been watching it from the first Power Rangers that came out.
Yeah, so
that one. I like that one.
Yeah, so that got released like a year ago, and obviously it was a bootleg, and they made him take it down, but they put it back up when they realized how much buzz it was putting around the Power Rangers name in general. See, me being someone who grew up on Power Rangers earlier, I'd be more interested in something like that. Take the Power Rangers, you put them in a real life world, in a real world sci-fi world, and you make it adult themed, and you talk about these kid soldiers, and you have it touch on scenarios that are happening in the real world now. See, that's what I think you do, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna go with the kiddie, we're Power Rangers and it's morphin' time and all that crazy stuff. So I'm not excited about it at all. I probably won't go and watch it in a cinema. It will depend. If they throw out a couple good trailers, maybe I'll go watch it in the movies. But I don't know. I'm not, from what I've heard and what I've seen, I'm not sold yet.
No, I'm not completely sold either. It does seem like nowadays they do try and tend to both crowds, like they done with Teenage Mutant, like the Turtles. But yeah, I guess we just have to wait and see. That's what we can do.
That's good. You bring up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So did you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, big surprise for me. I thought it was really good.
Pardon?
Yeah, it was a big surprise for me. I thought it was really good.
See, me as well, because I never watched any trailers for the movie, and I think one day I was at the barber shop, freshening up as I do, and they had it on in the background, and I watched it, and I was like, this movie is actually pretty good. I think my expectations were so low that it blew all of them, and I think maybe if they get the Power Rangers and they try and go for some sort of role like that, you get what I'm saying? Like they make it just for kids. I felt like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was made just for kids. So if they go that way and they kind of make it funny and spoofy, that it might work for someone, but who knows?
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I guess we just have to wait and see. Hopefully, it's a good one.
All right, cool.
What's the next subject?
Next subject is Lee. I'm gonna butcher his name, but Levi's Schreiber. He was talking about the Wolverine movie. He was in the first Wolverine movie that got released, Wolverine Origins. I can't remember what year it got released. What year? Have you got the year?
No.
I'll check the year. And the original Power Rangers came out in '95.
Okay.
The original Power Rangers movie came out in '95. But yeah, he's been talking about how he has been approached and he's in talks for maybe reprising his role in the new Wolverine movie, Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine movie that's set to come out in 2017. How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts?
Well, the only thing that came out in that movie that was really good was Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine and Levi playing Sabretooth. Like, those are probably the only two good castings. And Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds playing the previous or Deadpool before he was Deadpool kind of thing. Like, apart from that movie, everything was trash. But yeah, him coming back, play Sabretooth again.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that because that was actually a spot on casting. Like, nothing felt wrong about it. He looked right. He played the role really well. So if he's coming back in the last Wolverine movie, play that role, I think that's really good. I'll look forward to that.
All right. So my thoughts on it is, I think it's a good idea for him to come back, but at the same time, I also like the Sabretooth they had in the original X-Men.
Oh no!
See, I know. This is the thing. I feel like he played more of the real Sabretooth that you know and love from the cartoon. Big, savage, growling, didn't talk as much. But I'm not saying he's better than the other one. I think what I want to see in this last Wolverine is Lee Schreiber play a blend of that early Sabretooth mixed with the X1 Sabretooth in his own. Yeah. I think if he played that, like, grizzly, he's been going through it 30 years, you know, savaging and stuff, like, I want to see a real grizzly Sabretooth, and I want to see him come up against an older Logan, and that's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to jump a few years forward past the Deadpool era, because obviously Deadpool's set in current time. I think they're going to have Wolverine jump past that and bypass all of the X-Men stuff that's already going on and put them in his own little universe, how Deadpool's in his own universe, and have them two meet. And I think Schreiber's an amazing actor. Do you know what I'm saying? He's great in most of the roles he plays. I love seeing him as a bad guy. So seeing him against Hugh Jackman, a bit older, I think that could be I think it could be a great movie.
Yeah, so you mean like he could play the one that was in X1 and the one in Origins, like, because obviously the one in Origins is like the first time we see Sabretooth, so he's probably still growing into his feral kind of mutation. And if they do the time skip where you're saying doing it past Deadpool, maybe we can see more of a current day 90s Sabretooth X-Men where it's like he's more hairy, he's like almost pure animal, and yeah, that would be like a real good transformation from back in the day to where he is now. So what do you think about that?
Like I said, that's I feel the same way. Like if they blend them two, I think it could be really good. And it just depends what kind of storyline they go. But I think that's one thing that they've missed out on, that Wolverine, like the whole X-Men franchise as a whole has missed out on having that Wolverine rivalry. And that was one of the things that in the animated series, like growing up, I used to watch that I loved. Like whenever there was Wolverine, Sabretooth wasn't too far. And they just had that pure hatred bond. Like Sabretooth wanted to be Wolverine. Wolverine was just naturally better than him. Just, you know what I'm saying? Things just worked out for Wolverine a little bit better. And that just gave that great dynamic that I'm yet to see. And I think they showed the starts of it in X-Men Origin and Wolverine Origins. But because that movie turned into just so much craziness after like the first 45 minutes, like they never really like got deep into it. And I think if you get the right director, Hugh Jackman's going to make sure this one's good. I think you've got the makings of something that can be amazing.
No, it's true. I need the right direction. We've got the actors there already. We don't know what the main story is yet, so the story could play a good part into it. But yeah, seeing the rivalry between the two, hopefully that all plays out into the movie. So I like the Wolverine movies. Like, I don't think they were trash. I think they were like average, obviously apart from Origins. So the Wolverine wasn't too bad. I didn't sleep through it, but didn't enjoy it too much. But if they bring the new one to a good standard, I think everything will come all together.
See, the reason I'm hopeful for this new Wolverine movie is because X-Men Wolverine Origins, the first one, the first 45 minutes are good. See, I like seeing Wolverine when he was a young kid, like that little part, and then how they had in the credit scene him and Sabretooth fighting in all these wars, growing up together. Do you know what I'm saying? I liked those parts of it. Obviously, when we see Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson early in the movie, I like those parts as well. Everything after that gets a bit crazy. And then in the second Wolverine movie, The Wolverine, I think the first hour and a half of the movie are really good until Samurai shows up in this huge adamantium suit, and I don't even know what's happening in the end of that movie, but it's just weird. It's just, it goes totally off the rails. Like, so I feel like they went from having 1/3 of a movie good to 2/3 of a movie good, and I think in this next one they're gonna have the whole movie is gonna be legitly what we want to see. So
Not a bad shout.
Yeah, if anyone's
definitely able to pull it off.
If anyone's no, I think they will, because I think, look, X-Men's one of those franchises that has been getting better and better with each one, and I feel like right now they're hitting their stride, especially with Deadpool just coming out being really good. The last two X-Men movies were two of my favorites, First Class and Days of Future Past. So, and Apocalypse is knocking on the door, 2 months away. So I think we're in a prime time position to have good X-Men movies. So I'm not worried at all. If anyone's got any questions regarding our topics, just jump in the comment section and we will address those. The next topic, it feels like it's an X-Men day today, because the next topic is talking about Gambit. So, report said, inside the reports, it said that a new list of movies have come out for Fox, and noticeably, which has disappeared from there, is the Gambit movie. So the Gambit movie is not on the new list of movies that Fox are releasing in the next 2 years, when it was originally slated to be in the move in 2017. 2 questions: why do you think it's not there, and do you think we will ever see a Gambit movie?
Well, from the news that we've been getting about Gambit, for quite a while there's been trouble about Channing Tatum not being able to do the role for Gambit, then coming back in, being able to do the role for Gambit. I think there's been other news regarding people in the background behind like production and stuff. And it just seemed like there was a lot of trouble from that get-go anyway. And it seemed like at one point everything was solid. Like, Channing Tatum came back. There was an Empire open fold where you see all the X-Men current cast, and Channing Tatum was there. So kind of thought, okay, yeah, we're getting a Gambit movie, we're getting this movie, we're getting that. Like, X-Men looks really solid right now for Fox. But I thought the trouble was over. Not knowing now that you're saying that it's now been cancelled from the up-and-coming movies. Even in the next 2 years, and Gambit was meant to be, what, next year? If not this year, wasn't it?
No, Gambit was supposed to get dropped in 2016. It was supposed to get dropped November of this year. So that's been pulled. Wow. And there's 2 unnamed Marvel movies that have slid in, not for this year, for I think one for later this year and then one for next year. So
okay.
So do you think we're ever going to see a Gambit movie? You didn't answer that.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay, that's what I forgot. Do we ever gonna see a Gambit movie? I think it's a very popular character, and for them to even bring up the idea that Gambit was going to have his own solo movie. I think eventually we will, because his background and his his coming with the X-Men in general is I don't know, it needs to be touched on. Everyone loves Gambit, everyone loves his little romance with Rogue. And I think there's enough story in there to see what we don't see about Gambit. Like, there's a lot of mystery behind him. And I think it was a comic book series back in the day. I think it was like a 3-part Gambit series about how he came to part, like how he came to be and stuff. So I think eventually we will get to see a Gambit movie. But boy, if it was not in the next 2 years, then maybe 2018, 19, 20.
All right, so my thoughts on it. I think what's happened to Gambit is Gambit has suffered from the success of Deadpool. I think, hear me out. I think Deadpool's come out, a movie, what got produced, made, and marketed for around 58 million. South of, like, underneath $70 million completely for everything. And then you've got a Gambit movie that was projected to be around 150 to upwards to 200 of movies kind of production budget. Now, if I'm a Fox executive, I'm like, well, I could make 3 more Deadpool movies with the budget I was going to put into Gambit. Money talks. Like, that's one of the things. So the thing is, I also feel like the stuff that you was touching on with Channing Tatum dropping out, I think that was all publicity. I think Channing Tatum wanted a certain amount of money. Fox said no. He said, I'm not going to be in a movie. Fox said, here, Channing Tatum, here's your money. He said, I'm going to be in a movie. I think that was just harsh negotiation, because he knows Channing Tatum, well, him or his PR people or whatever, they know the kind of fans that get behind these kind of movies. And they know that he's a big enough star that if he says, I'm not going to be in this movie that people are excited about him being in, the fans are going to go crazy. They're going to go mad. Fox are going to hear about it. They're not going to know what to do. And I feel like, so they came under that pressure. But then I think Deadpool has really like messed up Gambit's flow. So I think that you probably will see a Gambit movie, but I think it's going to get pushed back. And I think they're going to push it back till further enough that we forget about it. With the new X-Men coming out. Bryan Singer already saying that there's going to be another X-Men movie after Apocalypse that he's going to be on, with Deadpool 2 and talk of the X-Force movie. I think with those 3 things, when you start talking about all that stuff, we're slowly going to forget about Gambit, and the budget's going to lower. Maybe Channing Tatum's going to leave the project and they bring someone else in. I think they're going to try and produce this movie for a lot less. I know you say Gambit is a very likable character, but I disagree. Like, he is a good character, but he was never a standout to me personally. Like, when I think about the X-Men, it's like he doesn't jump out to me as someone I'd want to see a solo movie for. Like, I mean, I'd rather see characters like Bishop. We've already touched on the future and Days of Future Past. What about doing an X-Men movie in the future with those characters, or someone like Cable that he's already going to be in Deadpool 2, but he's a character that is very compelling, that you can get behind and understand his story, especially with his links to being Cyclops' dad and stuff like that. So I think that it could be a really good idea for them to go away from Gambit, especially with the amount of money that they're trying to put into that movie. So I think we'll still get the movie, but I think it's going to get pushed so far down the line that everything's going to change and it'll come out at another time.
That's the thing. Like you said, that you don't think it's a popular character enough, and there's other people that are popular, like Bishop. I think only hardcore fans know about Bishop, especially from like back in the day. So even he can't get his movie straight away. Like, people know about Gambit, and like I said, for me, like, he's still like a mystery. Even though I've read his history and stuff, I would like for him to come to the big screen. But even back in the day, when it's the same thing that's happening now, like you're saying, Deadpool did really well with the budget he got, and Gambit was set for a bigger budget, but then they realized, wait a minute, Deadpool did really well with a smaller budget. So sorry, Gambit, goodbye. It's the same thing with Wolverine Origins, where that came out, and they were already saying, now we're going to do loads of origin stories.
Yeah.
And Magneto was going to be one of them. But what happened to Wolverine? Didn't do so well, so they cut Magneto. They made sure Bryan Singer came back and had to reboot X-Men after number 3. It didn't, like, everything was just like chopping and chasing because of the previous movies was just always messing up, like I said, the flow of how they wanted things to go. But I think they can do X-Men characters who aren't going to be really mainly starred in their other movies. Like trying to get Gambit into a next or even another X-Men movie is going to be difficult because he's his own guy. Like, you come into, like, he's part of the X-Men, but he's not really part of the X-Men at the same time. He will come in, everyone knows him, but at the same time, he might, like, do something with them if they need his help. And then before you know it, it's like, okay, guys, I've got to go do my thing and disappear like Wolverine. That's why I think Wolverine could get his own movie. That's why I think Gambit could get his own movie. That's why I think Deadpool could get his own movie, because those people still part of the X-Men, but at the same time, they can hold their own in their own separate, separate universe.
See, what I would say to that is that you're only ever a scene away from having your own movie. Now, if we think about Days of Future Past, in fact, let's take it further back than that. Let's go to X2. That movie starts with the Nightcrawler scene, and this is like a famous scene in superhero movies. That's all it takes. It takes one scene for you to put someone in someone's mind and be like, I need to see more of him. So imagine this works. This does work for Gambit, as you said, but I feel like it also works for. It could work for an unknown. That's why it can work for a Cable. It can work for a Bishop. At the end of Deadpool, he says, "Oh, and Cable's going to be in the next movie." But do you think the majority of people know who Cable is? No, I think that's just a nugget for nerdy fans like me and you and people we hang around with. So that's why I think if you do the next X-Men movie and you throw someone in there like Bishop or even Gambit, let's say Gambit's in the next movie, and he has one scene where he just demolishes everything, where he just looks super cool and you just love him, and then he does exactly what you does. He does a Han Solo after saving everyone. He says, "Oh, look, I'm out, I'm not coming back," but actually doesn't come out, then shows up in his own movie. I think that can work, but I don't think that's just restricted to Gambit. I think you can actually do that with any character. You've just got to give them the platform. And I know you're talking about Deadpool and Gambit and how they portray themselves in the cartoons, and that's why they can do that on their own. But I think with cinematic universes, you're not restrained to that stuff. Like, you look at the Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't know who they was 2-3 years ago. I'm a deep comic book nerd. You're a deep comic book nerd. We may have heard of them, but we didn't know who they was. We didn't care. And it just shows that if you give them the right segue, the right kind of guy behind it, you can put anyone on the map. So I'm not really too fussed if we get Deadpool. I do like Channing Tatum as an actor. It would be cool, but I'm not fussed. I'd rather see other characters. But if it comes out, I'll be first in line, midnight viewing. I'll be there.
But yeah, like same. I'm not too fast. I like Gambit. Like, he's one of my favorite X-Men characters. But like, that's why they got X-Men movies, because most of them band in a group. Like, I don't really, like, if there was a Cyclops movie, yeah, I'd still go see it. Like, he's one of my favorites as well. But at the same time, I feel most of his story is built with the X-Men. As soon as his powers are found out, they see if he goes picks him up. So I can't see myself seeing how I don't see myself how I could see Cyclops going to have his own movie and it ended up becoming too much of an X-Men movie, while I could see someone like Gambit having a Gambit movie and not it becoming an X-Men movie like Deadpool. Yeah, they had like X-Men involved, but at the same time, the majority of the movie was just Deadpool anyway. What do you want to touch on that?
I just don't agree. I mean, because I do understand what you're saying. Like, especially Cyclops is a great character that you picked as well, because I I didn't used to like Cyclops in the cartoon and stuff. I thought he was a bit of a douche and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think the newer iterations of him, where he's leading the revolution and stuff like that, and also in the all new X-Men, where his younger version comes in, sees his older version. I see stuff like that. I think that's the stuff that is ripe for movies. And I think also that, like, not every character has got to be it's not got to be a whole world exploding thing. I think you take Cyclops, you do a movie in one day. He goes out somewhere and it just goes down. He contacts the X-Men, we can get there, but we're going to be there in 36 hours. The movie, that's all you need. Like, that's one plot device that eliminates the whole X-Men, and I guarantee that in Avengers movies in the future, that's gonna start happening. In Solo, Iron Man movie. What if they make more Iron Man movies? But in Thor movies and stuff like this, they're gonna start using stuff like that, because that was one of the big problems in in like Iron Man 3. Well, why doesn't he just call Thor? Why doesn't he just call Hulk? He can smash everyone. Because when we're making a cinematic universe that's built off of a comic universe, you have to start doing stuff like that. And I think that's all you need. You do one day in the life of Scott Summers. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like a police procedural where he's going shopping and he just sees something go down and he gets dragged into this whole thing. And that's why I love movies like Dread. Like, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I love the original Judge Dredd movie with Sylvester Stallone. I don't care. I love it. I love the movie. It's amazing. I am the law. I love it. Yeah, I love it. But the new one, the reason I liked it is because it happens in like the space of 5 hours. Do you know what I'm saying? They leave the police precinct in the morning. They get back at night. Like, he's locked up with one of his partners in a block of flats, and they just go to war. And I respect movies that don't have to lean on whole world blowing up stuff. Like, it's cool. I like seeing the Avengers save the universe, blah 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 blah. But I want to see Cyclops just save the dog down his street, or save the lady in the tree. I don't think that stuff's bad, and I don't think we're in this time right now where everything's got to top everything. And I want to go back to Superman saved the cat out of a tree and he saved one plane, and that's the climax of the movie. Not like Superman Returns, but in a good way.
No, I see what you mean, because I think I was watching a top 10 of the worst rip-offs, and it was like how Die Hard created a genre where you're in a situation and then suddenly that's all in one day. Like, Die Hard happened all in one day, and like you said, like, we don't need these stories that span out span of a week. We can have like you said, Cyclops can go to the store one time, to pick up groceries, coming out from the Xavier mansion, and suddenly it's like all these mutants are just trying to take over this, like, I don't know, town he went to one time. And like I said, he tries to call the X-Men. We've got all these mutants here from the Brotherhood, of Magneto's Brotherhood. I need backup. It's like, oh, Scott, we're maybe in New York dealing with something else. And that doesn't sound like a bad idea, but like I said, at the same time, everyone's trying to do the same idea. Everyone wants an original story of where they first came from. And it's just a shame how that's how people think. Everyone, like I think that's just how comic book movies go as well. As soon as there's a new character out, everyone needs to know how they got their power, how they use their power, and what's the evil opposing their power. Like, I've never seen a comic book movie come out and be like, boom, everyone knows who this person is, and he's trapped in this building for one day, and he's just going to face the opposing person kind of thing. So, if comic books can start doing that, that'd be great as well. But that's the reason why I think we don't get a Cyclops movie, or we don't get someone that's already established in, said, like XMen, or the same thing with Fantastic Four is a bit different because obviously they're always together anyway. But like you said with Nightcrawler, that'll be like another interesting movie. Like, you see him in the first 20 minutes, says, I don't think I could be with you guys anymore, and poof. And then you can get your own Nightcrawler movie kind of thing. But obviously that's up to the writers. They don't think it's, I don't know, viable, or the buzz is not there, so they don't do it. But I think it's really possible.
See, one thing that I'm really excited about with the whole Batman or DC Cinematic Universe right now is because of what's going to happen in Batman vs Superman. The Batman movie, the solo Batman movie that I believe is going to get announced soon, with Ben Affleck starring and directing, is going to have to be a small movie, because if it's too big, Superman has to come and save the day, or Aquaman has to come and save the day. Like, hear me out. So if they do a small contained movie, it's in Gotham, it's just car chases and him and the Joker, it's like a under the Red Hood kind of storyline, like the Arkham Knight kind of storyline, something like that, where it's not the whole city in danger, but it's small enough that they believe Batman can deal with it. I think that's what's going to happen, and I think because things are going so far out, where the whole Justice League are coming in, for them to do a Batman movie, it's got to be very small, like very small, and that's what I want to see. I want to see Dredd, but with Batman. Batman's locked in a block of, I don't know, an estate block with 300 goons, and he's got to save 7. He's got. Look, they've been kidnapped. He's got to save 10 kidnapped kids. That's the whole movie, and it's him being a detective, like, you know, detecting stuff out and just destroying people. Like that's all I want to see. That's all I need from my Batman. That's all I need. I don't need Bane with a 5 megaton bomb trying to blow up the whole of Gotham. I don't. Like, I've seen it. I love it. I'm not knocking the movie. I enjoy that, but I want to see something smaller. And that's throughout the boards. I think AntMan did it very well. Like, they threw in the Avengers, like the Avengers was in there. They spoke about you see what's his name, Falcon's in and stuff like that. But at the heart of it, it's a very small movie about a father, a daughter, and a guy struggling with his own personal identity, and that's what I really liked about it. And I think that they should keep doing stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing, like you said, in an ever-expanding universe where you know other people can come and save the day, but at the same time, do you want to just see Batman go into a neighborhood and then just beat up goons? You want to, I don't know, you'd want it to be a big skeptical where he goes into somewhere like Arkham and be like almost life-threatening to him, where every person he's captured and put away is now against him, rather than gone to one place where he's almost outnumbered. Yeah, it's still life-threatening, but it's like it's Batman coming. Like, he's almost superpowered compared to the average human being. See, you can take on about 30 guys, no problem.
Obviously, I'm just throwing out crazy ideas, but I mean, you do an event where it starts with something's just happened. So something's just happened, like Batman's just, we don't see this part. Something's just happened in a movie, but the movie starts with Batman climbing to shore, beaten and battered. Yeah?
John Wick. Just like John Wick.
Exactly. He's beaten and he's battered. He's like, he's already, let's just say he just fought Killer Croc for 2 days, and he comes out and this is the scenario in front of him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, everything's against him. So it makes the average person now stronger because Batman's weak from the beginning. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like there's so many plot devices that these people can use to make this thing work, and I don't know. I don't want to be a writer. I just want them to do what I want them to do. All right, cool. Any more on this topic? What was we supposed to be talking about?
I think it was
Gambit.
Yeah, that's it. Gambit leaving.
But
in fact, more people are leaving. Joseph Gordon-Levitt has left the Sandman project. You want to see what he wrote on his Facebook?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, as you might know, if you like to follow these sort of things, a while back, David Goyer and I made a producing deal with Warner Brothers to develop a movie adaptation of Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Neil himself came on as an executive producer. We hired an excellent screenwriter, Jack Thorne, and we started on an ambitious task on adapting one of the most beloved and boundary-pushing titles in the world of comics. I was pleased with the progress we were making, even though we still had quite some ways to go. Recently, as you might know if you like to follow these sort of things, the sort of ownership, speech marks, in brackets, for lack of a better term, of the Sandman material changed hands when Warner Brothers shifted the entire catalogue of Vertical Comics, an imprint of DC, to the subsidiary, New Line. And a few months ago, I came to realize that the folks of New Line and I just don't get to see eye to eye, which makes Sandman special, and what film adaptation could or should be. So unfortunately, I've decided to remove myself from the project. I wish nothing best for the people and the team moving forward. I'd like to thank all the great people who had the opportunity to work with on this one. I had a blast with and learned a ton from David and Jack. Nigel Kudan, Greg Silverman, and everyone at Warner Bros. Have been fantastic, as have Jeff Jones and everyone at DC. And it has been particularly a privilege as well as a rocking good time getting to know Mr. Gaiman. Those generous insights and masterful work have certainly convinced me that the Lord of the Dreams and the Prince of Stories are one and the same in the endless pattern. That's what he wrote.
That's a lot. I mean,
I think leaving too.
I mean, I don't think it's a surprise that he's leaving with Warner Brothers handing over all those properties, all the Vertigo properties to New Line. I mean, I think Warner Brothers had an idea. We're going to focus on the core DC cinematic universe, so we pass on Vertigo and maybe like Justice League Dark and stuff like that onto New Line and let them produce it. And I think that for fans of that stuff, it is good for us. Yeah. I do think it's bad for obviously Sandman fans, Joseph Gordon-Levitt fans. I'm a big fan of his. I'm not a big fan of Sandman, but it was something I was slightly interested in. I mean, definitely they're looking to go a different direction from what he's saying, and I just feel like he's tried to very nicely say that I'm moving away from the project. He's not slamming the company, but he's clearly taking small digs, saying they don't understand what is so good about it. So I think these things happen. I think it's probably the best for both parties, because I'd hate for him to try and make a movie with them and then they have their fingers in the bowl and mess it up. How Fox and Josh Trank didn't get along when they made the Fantastic Four movie. So I think it's probably the best. I think hopefully he moves on to something else still superhero related, so we get to see something good. But don't know, he's got a bright future ahead of him. It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's a winner. What do you think?
That's the thing though, like even if he moves off the project, which I'm very disheartened about, it's just going to happen to someone else anyway. Like someone else is going to have to step in. They're going to have to do their work with New Line. And the same thing happens where this new person, director, says, I want to do this. New Line says, no, we've got to make it do it this way. I think they're just going to have to they're going to step in anyway. If they've done it with like Joseph, they're going to do it with anyone. So I had high hopes for Sandman. I never really read a Sandman comic, but like people involved, I thought it's going to be like very interesting to see. And but now I'm just not even going to watch it now. I'm probably going to see the trailers, probably see the reviews, but I'm like, no.
So do you think they're still going to produce the movie? You still think the Sandman movie's coming out?
I still think the Sandman movie's coming out. I think they've gone too far just to cut it now. The only person that's been cut off the list is Joseph. He's decided to leave. But everyone else that's involved, Jeff Johns, Greg Silverman, the writer Neil Gaiman, David Goyer, they're all good people. Like they're all like people with good storytelling skills, people who got like a lot of experience in the industry. And it's just a shame that another big name has decided to go. But I think I still think it's raring to go. I think they could still get someone else in that could still do a very good job. But I still think that New Line will still try and get their fingers in and be like, no, we don't like what you're doing. you got to change that. And then the person's either going to be like, Jordan will be like, okay, I'm bouncing, or they're just going to stay and be like, oh, they're messing with my movie, we're not getting along, but I do want it to come out, but we'll see.
I mean, I think it can go both ways, because you get the scenario with the Fantastic Four where Fox have got their fingers in a bowl and they're messing up Josh Trank's idea. But then you also get a movie like AntMan where, what is the director's name? Oh, Edgar Wright. There you go. Where Edgar Wright is producing the movie for 9 years. Before the cinematic universe, before the cinematic universe was even concocted, he had this Ant-Man story, and he had it, and he just kept going with it, kept going, kept changing it until they gave him the opportunity to make his own movie. And then in the last minute, he pulls out, and they put another director in, and the movie still turns out to be pretty good. So that's the same kind of thing. I feel like the studio have got the best movie in their mind, and so have creators. It's just about getting the creator and the studio that can work together to make the best movie. So, like I said, I don't feel positive or negative towards the situation. I think it's better that they go their separate ways than try and work together when they know they're going to bump heads. But if they are going to go ahead with the movie, I think that it'll still be good, because you still have the same kind of core of team. There are other good directors out there, and there are other good actors out there that can fill those roles of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So I think it's a win-win for both parties, really.
No, I have to agree. If the parties are still there, like I said, there's tons of people behind this project who can still make it a good movie. If they're still able to get the good director and the good actor, then yeah, I think this will be still a good movie. But it's a lot riding on it. Like, no one knows Sandman apart from the hardcore fans, and it's not DC Comics, so they're almost doing like a Marvel and a Fox, where Fox has got Fantastic Four and XMen movies, and Marvel's got most of the other properties. So with DC's trying to do that, make sure Virgo's got their own thing, so they're not too busy. That's cool and everything with Warner Brothers, but I guess you just gotta see how it goes. Hopefully it's still good. Hopefully it's just bring Sandman good to life.
All right, cool. I agree. All right, so let's get to supposedly our main topic. Big trailer came out it's supposed to be a big trailer, but a trailer for a big franchise that we've been waiting for a long time came out this week. The new Ghostbusters trailer, the reboot. Have you seen it? What do you think about it? What are your general thoughts on Ghostbusters? Are you a Ghostbusters fan? Do you like them? Was you excited about the new Ghostbusters coming out?
I'm a Ghostbusters fan. Like, I've watched 1 and 2. Obviously enjoyed number 1 a lot more than I enjoyed number 2. And when I heard the new one, I was like, cool, new female cast. That's a good change up. The cast, I thought was all right. You know, didn't really have any problems with them. But then I heard the director, and I was like, now I'm a bit worried, because he seems like he's getting his people on it. Have you seen like Bridesmaids and stuff like that? His comedy isn't funny for me. Like, it's really slapstick. So I was like, hopefully he doesn't take that path with this movie, because if you see the previous ones, the one-liners are really good, the story is really good, and it just meshes well. But if you watch his other movies, it's just like he just tries jokes all the time until something hits you, and if it doesn't, then, you know, the whole scene's wasted anyway. So I was kind of worried, but I was, you know, just saying it's Ghostbusters, you know, the license is good. See how it goes. What do you think?
All right, so I mean, I like Ghostbusters. Obviously, one of the things I liked about Ghostbusters is it's an older franchise, and one thing that they did really well is they had comedy, they had horror, you know, not sci-fi but paranormal elements in a good movie. Some of it was really childish, but some of it was kind of adult themed. Like, they had a good blend of everything, and that's what I liked about the Ghostbusters. I wasn't super anticipating it. If they never made a new Ghostbusters movie, I wouldn't have been devastated. But I think it's a good idea that they've done it. So when I heard about the new one, I was excited in the beginning at the premise of it, because I thought, well, if they do the same thing that Star Wars has done, and what other movie, and Rocky's done, where it's like, it's just 30 years, the time's passing, and they're just going to keep going on with the story. So the original Ghostbusters are like, you know, granddads and old men, and now they employ people to run the Ghostbusters stuff. Like, I feel like that's easy to throw in. Everyone would accept that, and you move on. But then when I heard that they was doing like a reboot, I didn't really understand why. Like, when you've got a franchise that's 30 years old, you don't really need to reboot it. Like, you can do a soft reboot, like a soft reboot. Like, I feel like what Rocky is. Rocky is a soft reboot. I feel I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but the Force Awakens is a very soft reboot. Do you know what I'm saying? It reimagines itself for today, follows the storylines from the past, but it's about new people and it's about new characters. That's why I call it a soft reboot. So I thought if they went that way, it would have been much better. Whether they have a female cast or a male cast doesn't really bother me. I don't really care. I'm more interested in good actors and actresses and stuff like that. So, do you want to go first about the trailer? How do you feel about the trailer? Do you want me?
You go. Yeah, go first. Go ahead.
All right. So, obviously, I saw the trailer got released. I clicked on the trailer, watched it. I was very confused in the first 5 seconds, because it says something along the lines. I can't remember it word for word, but I'm pretty sure it says 30 years ago. And I was like, whoa. If this is a reboot, why are we even talking about something that happened before? Because this is, I thought that was very misleading. And then it goes on to talk about, and there's going to be a new team, and I'm thinking the same thing. Well, if this is a new franchise, if this is a reboot, why are they referring to old things? And then I realized they're going to try and lean on the history without the history being involved in the movie. And I think that's A, misleading, and B, just the wrong way to go. If you wanted to do this, just include the original cast. You don't even have to have them in a movie. All you've got to do is have one scene where they walk down a hall and you've got the pictures of the old cast on the wall. They're all dead. They all got killed by ghosts. That's it. That takes 3 seconds. But they didn't do that. Then it got into the trailer, and I'm watching it and I'm like, wow. Like, this just looks like a regular Kristen Wiig comedy. Like, all the elements of the original Ghostbusters were not there. Not from what I saw. I felt like they tried to hit on certain nostalgic notes, because Slimer was in the trailer. They had the bit where she gets vomited on by a ghost. You know, obviously this happens in the originals. And I was just like, this is not working for me. Like, the majority of the stuff I did not find funny. The one, I think I found 2 jokes funny, where she slaps her twice, which is just like, that's weak humor, but you know, it's funny. That, and maybe the joke about crack, it's in all my cracks. I may have giggled at just a piece when I get. Other than that, I thought the trailer was horrible. No other joke was funny. I don't understand what's going. I didn't like it. I'm trying to think of good things. I'm trying to be positive about it, but I didn't like it. These are 4 good actresses as well. This is what's upsetting me, because these are 4 good actresses that they could have done something else. Obviously, Chris Hemsworth's in it as well. But these are 4 good actresses, and I don't feel like they've been utilized. They are funny people on their own, but it didn't really shine through in the first trailer for me. So I'm now gone from curious to I don't care at all about this. Maybe it's just a bad trailer, so I'll wait for the next one. But It's getting a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes from Mr. J. ICanWin. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the trailer. I was thinking the same thing. So they were like mentioning historical stuff. It was like stuff has happened before. And you see the building and stuff. So the building's still there. So it's almost like it's already happened. So when these people already know about Ghostbusters, you see like the old logo on the wall in the train station. I was like, oh, so like Ghostbusters, like, I don't know, they're gonna bring them back. And then all of a sudden there's no touch on, like I said, the previous characters. All of a sudden, no one mentioning that they just want to go ghostbusting because all these ghosts are starting to come back up, and then they eventually find out that someone's actually making it happen. And then I was just watching through the trailer. None of the jokes were funny to me. I just didn't like it at all. And then the CGI, super colorful. I was like, these ghosts don't seem threatening to me. Like, I remember watching the previous ones, and the only one that wasn't scary was Slimer, and he was a joke character anyway. But when you get to see these ghosts flying everywhere, one flew towards the screen. I was like, aiming for 3D. I was like, why would you make any ghost fly towards the screen like that? It wasn't even scary. Like, I don't know, nothing stood out. No one-liners, and near the end where she almost turned her neck around. I was like, I know it's funny, it's comedy, it's not realistic. I was like, if she's possessed by someone and then she turns her neck 360 or 180, if she comes back to life, she's dead. Like, she's literally dead. Like, although I was like, I can't take it serious anyway because it's a movie about ghosts that aren't realistic. I was like, none of it was, and then the whole slapping business, so forced. Like, everything in that trailer was so forced. And like I said, everything was slapstick. Nothing to me just wasn't enjoyable. So even as a movie, I can't imagine watching it and then just enjoying it. Just not.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on something I forgot. The ghosts, the way the ghosts look are horrible to me. They're really bright and luminous. It reminded me of, like, have you seen the trailer for Ghostbusters, for Goosebumps, the Goosebumps movie?
Yeah, Goosebumps,
so
yeah.
it reminded me of something like that, and I was like, this is not what Ghostbusters is. This is not, like, I'm not even a hardcore Ghostbusters fan, but you are messing up what Ghostbusters is. You're just trying to turn Ghostbusters into one of those franchises that everyone can go to and that everyone's gonna like. They're trying to just tick boxes, and that's not what Ghostbusters is. Ghostbusters is for a niche group. Like, just make it for those people. Like, not every movie. This is my thing. Not every movie's got to be a 200. It's not got to make $500 or pounds at the box office, and it's one of the things that's really annoying to me because this movie, if this movie plays how the trailer plays, it's not going to do well. It's not going to do well. And then they're not going to have another one, and there's not going to be another and Ghostbusters might be done, and that's not something I want to see. I want there to be good Ghostbusters stuff. So that's it. Like, I pretty much hate the trailer. It's horrible. I'm gonna wait and see the next trailer. Hopefully, the bad backlash that this one gets, they either cut a better trailer or they really expose that the movie's not going to be good. It's one or the other.
Like,
any other final thoughts on that?
if this is the taste of the trailer, I don't think there could be anything else they can cut from the movie that could be any different. Like, the way they seem to explain the way they band together, I thought was rubbish. Oh, I know my way around New York. That's why I want to join you.
How?
Okay.
I didn't even want to touch on that. But did it not even seem a bit stereotypical racist to you in that part? I was like, so we've got a team of 4 women. The 3 Caucasian women are super brainy scientists, and then you've got the 1 black train inspector, the ticket lady. Okay.
None of them know their way around New York as well. They can't get Google Maps or something. I know my way around New York.
I don't know.
The one there can invent stuff. She's good at engineering. Oh, so she gets to be in a team. Another one knows how to write all that science gobbledygook. So she's in the team. And then you see them near the end where they're punching and doing everything to the ghosts. It's almost like, so where did the experience come from? I remember in the old Ghostbusters, it was almost like they were learning on the job kind of thing. Nothing was like straight out of the book. Even the whole crossing the beams thing, like no one knew that until Egon mentioned it, and he had to explain what would happen and how dangerous it was. And then Peter made a joke about it, and only near the end they were like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" kind of thing. But this one, everyone's got their guns. Like they've used guns before. Like you got the one who played Tammy, that punching ghosts. Like it's like if I was to go see a ghost, you sure I'm gonna go punch a? I'm gonna be like this far back. I'm gonna be blasting crap. There's no way I'm gonna be up and close with a ghost to punch. Nah, it was just nah. It was too far fetched. And the whole slapping scene just pissed me off. I was like,
yeah, it's bad. It is bad.
It was funny. The whole scene wasn't funny.
It is bad, but it was the funniest part. Like it was a bad trailer, that was the funniest part for me. I can't lie. But if I saw that in any trailer, I'd laugh. So that's just that kind of physical humor gets me. But it's a bad trailer. It sucks.
And then when she slaps her once, the ghost leaves. So why is she slapping her another time? Why is there 2 slaps?
Didn't she see the ghost leave?
Thank you. If we, the audience, can see a ghost leave a body, I'm pretty sure the people inside the movie can see the ghost leave too. So
because she's a stupid train instructor or a ticket deliverer, she couldn't see. If she was a neuroscientist, then she would have been able to see the ghost leave. So.
You know what I mean? The reaction as well. It's like you could tell your friend's no longer possessed. Come on, like it doesn't. I like even as a director, I'm trying to create a comedy. I don't try to make things too far fetched where, like, the characters are now stupid. Like, if you was in that situation and even you was a bit eccentric, I don't know. I don't know.
I think we've got to bear in mind that obviously it is a trailer and that is taken out of context, because I don't want people jumping in the comment section saying, it's just a trailer, don't judge the whole movie by the trailer. Like, yeah, right, we get it. But at the same time, it looks stupid. And if they've got people who are supposed to watch trailers and say, oh, this looks stupid, let's not do it. And they're not doing their jobs well. So anyway, Ghostbusters the first trailer gets a big thumb down from me.